York City on an April night. I'm not religious, but the Passover meal was fine. I've been promising an album since the start of this, but it was never ready to be made. Like, I was never ready. City lights flickering in your car. We drove fast, but I took it in slowly. It's now a necessity and essential for the next step.
And Ryan, for you, like, to become this artist, I guess there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes involved with that, but throw in a bloke that wants to make a movie about your rise to fame or the trials and tribulations. Was that a little bit daunting along with all the other stuff that's going on?
Yeah, very much so. I'm not very good with being in front of cameras and stuff. So for me, it was kind of, how am I going to adjust, and will I even be able to? But Brendan and his team were so great. They kind of eased their way in, giving me my space, and then we kind of found that comfortable sort of level of, this is how comfortable we both are in together in sync. So they did a great job of just capturing things, and it was it was very strange for sure, but it was nice in the end.
And a nice sort of diary almost of that period in your life, because we see a good few years. And obviously there has to be a notable few highlights in amongst there with Ed and Snow Patrol. I mean, did you have to get their permission to use them in the film? I mean, how does it work? Do you ring up Ed Sheeran and go, hey, do you mind being in my movie?
Yeah, pretty much. You go, hey, there's a movie being made about me, and there's a great scene with you and I. Can we use it? Yeah, I think so. I don't understand why not. Okay, good, because we are.
Just when I thought it couldn't get better, they put Bowie on the radio. Just like they had a million times before. Felt like the first time that I heard it though. For a moment we were heroes.
But in a great way, finally has become that time now, Ryan. Debut, the film, and the debut of this album that's been so long time coming. And live music, the official announcements are about to happen, and there's a sense in the Republic that scene is returning. It's already returned in the North. Are you looking forward to those days of being back on stage, which so much are a big part of this film? You can really see it more so than ever, how you come alive on stage.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a sort of live act. I love to record music. I love to write it. I love to be creative. But the shows are kind of the payoff. They're always just a joy. So, yeah, it's kind of strange that it's almost feeling back to normal. I've got a new single out. I've got an EP coming out to support the documentary in a couple of weeks. And then we've got shows in the Olympia in Dublin and all over kind of Ireland. Fingers crossed, you know. So, yeah, it's almost like things are getting back to normal. And I'm so excited. I've been off long enough. So let's get back to work.
Have you learnt anything about yourself in this pandemic time? I know a lot of artists and people I've spoken to throughout this period, unfortunately, on these silly Zoom calls, but, you know, they've all perhaps taken something away from the downtime. It's perhaps sometimes made it worse for their creative process. Sometimes it's made it better. Have you been grateful for anything from lockdown?
Absolutely. I actually think I've probably got just as much positives as negatives, because I never thought I would ever get this amount of time at home to live in a home and be in a home. And I found out a lot about myself just because I was so busy on the road for so long. I kind of couldn't catch a breath. So to sit down and breathe and just be was kind of pretty great. And I don't think I'll ever regret anything that's happened, because I feel like all it kind of did was reinstate how much I love what I do for a living. And I certainly won't take it for granted ever again, because I know I certainly was taking it for granted at times last 2 years ago and whatever. But no, I'll never take it for granted again, that's for sure.
Was there a couple of songs that came out of lockdown?
Yeah, a good few actually. For a while though, there wasn't. For a while there was none. I couldn't understand it. It felt like the lockdown was also like a lockdown of the mind as well as the body. I couldn't find a way out. And then one week there was 7 songs came in 5 days, and that was kind of the beginning of, oh, here we go, it's starting to come and flow and pour. So yeah, as many ups as downs, but certainly ready to get back to work, that's for sure.
Started walking in my direction, never looking down.
It's good to be here and lock in and just get into what are the last bits that are needed in this record, because there's a lot of incredible voices back in Northern Ireland, you know. But he's got one of those voices that it's kind of healing. We just have to get an album out.
You don't dance the same as everyone does.
He's got the voice, he's got everything, the persona live, and when he walks on stage, he owns it.
My future was civil engineer by day, pub singer by night. And I don't know when, but along the way, something changed. That dream, it became my reality, with every possibility of it being my future.
Oh baby, come on, you don't dance the same as everyone.